Concord School Board examines duties of school resource officer. The police officer at Concord High School might wear a bulletproof vest and carry a gun, but he is a trusted counselor, educator, and first responder who looks out for students, school administrators said. But professionals are better equipped to handle those roles for Concord students than a member of the police department. Some parents and students argued during a public hearing Wednesday night examining the role of the school resource officer. What little data exists shows that when an officer makes an arrest, black students are put into the criminal justice system at higher rates than their white peers, according to statistics from the Concord Police Department. The Concord School Board listened for hours last week as members of the community spoke for and against keeping the position. The position, budgeted at $88,000, is up for discussion as part of the board's work to finalize the $90 million proposed 2021-2022 budget. The idea of cutting the position was raised during summer of 2020 when students and alum circulated a petition calling for the removal of the officer as part of border racial injustice reform. The district's Anti-Racism Advisory Committee, formed shortly thereafter, issued a recommendation to review the impact and effectiveness of the school resource officer position. At Wednesday's meeting, administrators emphasized the benefits of an officer at school besides policing. Assistant Principal Tim Herbert said the school officer does not handle school discipline and isn't involved in classroom management or supervision. You may walk into the cafeteria and see an SRO, school resource officer, in the cafeteria talking to our students, Herbert said. That's not because he's assigned there. That's because he is building relationship with our students. The high school has had a police officer for over 20 years, according to Principal Mike Reardon. On an average day, the SRO is responsible for school safety and security, doing daily inspections of the building and responding to an emergency situation that may arise. He reviews the school's evacuation, lockdown, and fire drills. He also responds to reports of theft, destruction, or violence and illegal substances. SROs have acted as educators on topics of motor vehicle safety, substance use, and health observance relationship, according to Herbert, and been guest speakers in courses like careers and criminal justice. What you are going to see him doing is two basic things: interacting with kids and also kids coming to his office down by Commons A and seeking him out for counsel, Radon said. You'll see that going on throughout the day. The officer also organizes a bi-weekly youth roundtable that brings together school administrators, counselors, social workers, and others to discuss supporting students who are having trouble. Officers receive training in things like empathy, rheumatic de-escalation, and effective interaction with youth, including autistic youth. According to district data presented at the meeting, 23 of 900 or 2.5% of office referrals that were made in the last 3 years for a discipline interaction resulted in police involvement. Concord Police Department data presented at the meeting showed 40 juveniles were arrested at 170 Warren Street, the high school's address, from 2018 to 2020. The offenses included drug, alcohol, or tobacco violations, assault, disorderly conduct, protective custody situations, and others. The data shows black students at Concord High School are arrested disproportionately compared to their white peers. Black students, who make up 8.5% of Concord High School's student body, accounted for 20% of arrests in the past 3 years. White students, who make up 80% of the student's body, accounted for 77.5% of the arrest. But the sample size is also small. In the past 3 years, 8 black students and 31 white students and 1 Asian student were arrested. The data does not specify whether the arrests that took place at the school were students or non-students who were on the property. The data also does not specify whether each arrest represents a different student or one student being arrested multiple times. There is no data showing the rates of arrest for other categories such as Hispanic or Latino students or students with disabilities. Concord School Board student representative said the officer's responsibility, including things that could be handled by social-emotional learning experts. I think it would really beneficial to have other social and emotional learning opportunities put in place, the student said. I don't think children, especially at a younger age, should be given to a police officer to deal with trauma. Of the students, parents, employees, and community members who testified at the hearing, 7 individuals spoke in favor of keeping the position, and 14 spoke in favor of eliminating it. Others brought up small comparisons like requiring more training. Those who spoke in favor of keeping the position described position experiences they have had with officers at the school, referred to the feeling of safety from outside threats when an officer is in the building, and voiced concerns about issues like student drug use that the officer can help to control. Special education teacher and counselor Lori Orland told the board that the officer has been a real resource to her students over the years. I have seen students maintain relationships with resource officers and ultimately come to seek them as a role model who they seek out and ask for support, Orland said. They have overall been a positive experience for the students that I work with. Those who spoke against keeping the position voiced concerns about a school-to-person pipeline, described personal feeling unsafe and uncomfortable around police officers, and argued that counselors and social workers are better equipped for some of the officers' official or unofficial duties. Concord resident Leah suggested replacing the police officer with a mental health and other services, citing her past experience working as a lawyer with youth in the justice system. The SRO would arrest the client and bring them into the juvenile justice system, after which point, despite intervention that were often well-meaning, my clients had more trouble than they would have had getting the resource that they deserved under the law, and that they truly needed to address their underlying mental health and other challenges. Some speakers brought up the lack of data around student referrals to law enforcement, including data that shows student benefits from an officer in the building. Without data to support the efficiency of our current system, there is no bias to maintain it, said Parent Elizabeth Leahy. We cannot defer to unsupportive beliefs or feelings of an underfined competency of safety. We have to be guided by data and facts. SRO conservatives have been happening elsewhere in the state, too. On Thursday, the New Hampshire Senate voted down a Democratic bill seeking to constrain the arrest and search powers of school resource officers on public school grounds. Voters in Lebanon will decide on Tuesday whether to do away with the school resource officer's position in Lebanon's school. The Concord School Board will continue to discuss the future of the position in upcoming meetings. Public hearings on the school budget are scheduled for March 22nd and 24th. And that does it for this news report right here on the Riley King Network. I'm Riley King, reporting for the Riley King Network, and thank you for watching this news report. Goodbye, everyone.